We got A to Z flow state. It's part two. We're gonna go over the mix. So I'm gonna talk about some of the equipment that I use, that I record in, obviously the mic, preamps, things like that. We'll go into the setup of the session. I'm gonna break down some of the tracks, like the individual tracks that I recorded, or the musical tracks, the effects, plugins that I use, and like the secret sauce to wrap it all up. So without further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, this is the Universal Audio SD1. It's dope. I like the sound. I have another mic that I use by Blue Microphones. It's nice, but I like the way this mic makes my voice sound. As a matter of fact, I have it running through everything right now through my preamp, compressor, and EQ. And this is like no processing, just these three pieces of gear. And I just like the way it sounds. It feels good. So definitely make sure when you record and you find a mic, different mics have different frequency responses, meaning they pick up on different levels or different tones in your voice. Some mics are better for females or for higher voices. Some are better for males. Some are better for nasally voices. So definitely, if you can, book some studio time with the studio. See if they have a mic locker or a selection of mics that you can go test out and see what mic is good for you. Because a lot of times, an individual might just be using the mic for the price, and it just might not be the best mic, which means you have to go in on the back end and do all this EQing and processing when you really could just get a better mic. All right, that's not always the solution, but try it out. So this is the Universal Audio SD1. This is the mic I use to record with. From the mic, I go into my preamp, like I said, my compressor, and my EQ. For those three things, I'm using Rupert Neve Designs, the R&D 511, 543, and 551. It's the preamp, compressor, and EQ, respectively. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is my preamp. This is the R&D 511. And it's great to have a preamp. So we were talking about mics and finding the right mic for your voice, but sometimes it's even more important to find a good preamp. It may not be that your mic sucks or is too weak or is, going straight from your mic into your interface. It may be your preamp. So different preamps also sound different. I like the character of this preamp. So we go from the preamp to the compressor. I like the way it sounds. I got my settings. This is what I do. And from there, I go into, boom, this EQ. So I'm taking out some of the frequencies that are just muddy and just don't sound great on there. Yeah, that's it. Preamp, compressor, EQ. Now there's a thing on here. This is called texture. And this, I don't know if you can hear the difference. I can't hear it active right now. But as I'm talking and taking some of this texture out, this silk out, my voice may sound a little bit different. From what I remember, what do I have it set at around here? This adds more like mid-range smoothness to my voice. You can probably tell the difference when I was just turning it. Again, I can't tell it real time, but when I record, play it back, I made those settings. So boom, that's what I'm recording into. All right, so back to the nitty gritty. All right, so that's what I'm recording into. Now let's get into the actual track. So when I'm recording, the recording process, I go into a 2-track. If you don't know what a 2-track is, it's basically a stereo track, a basic MP3 or WAV file, meaning left and right, a 2-track. So I record into that. I get the ideas down. I get the gist of what I want to say or whatever it is. And then when it's time to mix, I track the session out. Track the session out just means that you are breaking down the MP3 or the WAV file into the music into its individual instruments. So if you take a look here, 2 kicks, bus there, open hi-hat, snare, shaker, all the sounds that went into making this beat are right here. So let's play it for a second. Let's just play the beat. Oh, all right. And at the top, you see the 2-track. So the beat, the original name of the beat is called Sweet Love. And if you want to hear the beat just by itself, go on my Bandcamp, bandcamp.com/King J Bradley. You can check it out. Buy it. Support a brother. We can get more videos like this and I'll break stuff down. But the track is called Sweet Love. The beat is called Sweet Love. So let's play it. So yeah, that's that. So I tracked the beat out. Well, actually I recorded everything. So I recorded all the vocals and I tracked the beat out. Once I track the beat out, I actually go through and make some small adjustments. So with my beat, I don't do anything crazy as far as the plugins and processing, because I did it when I made the beat. It's not always the case when you're working with different parts. Like if I get a beat from somebody else, I may have to go through and do some effects or process it a little bit differently for what I'm looking for my voice. Since I made the beat and I know what I'm looking for and I know what I sound like, once it comes into Pro Tools, it's pretty much finished. I just play around. Like here you see I threw an EQ on here to cut out some of the low end. Let's hit play. Okay, you can't see the EQ, but on this FabFilter EQ, I just cut out some low end. Do a little compressor on it. So just did some things to these sounds to make it sit better with the vocals. Now on the flip side of that, back to the beat and making it before I bring it in Pro Tools. Sometimes I don't do all that stuff because I know I'm just about to throw it in Pro Tools and get busy. So I may just wait until I get in Pro Tools and add all those effects. But for the most part, I do most of that stuff in Maschine. And that's another video. If you want to see that video of me actually making the beat and going through that process, subscribe. You know, it's pretty simple. That's the gist of the whole thing. If you like what I'm doing, let me know by subscribing. You did? All right, let's get into the vocals. We'll start at the hook. Let's unmute this and see what we got going on.
She said he left her lonely before. He left her lonely before. Sing her right here. Trying to let your love flow, yeah. Let your love flow. You've been holding back and you know that time waits for no one, nowhere. You gotta let your love flow, yeah.
All right, so those are the vocals. On my hooks, I like to do 3 tracks. It's a little trick I learned from Ken down to Q Recording, Falls Church. Shout out to them. He did a lot of work with a lot of 90s R&B. Mary J. did some stuff with Michael Jackson. They did some stuff with Bruno Mars at the studio. So that was a pretty dope experience. But I record 3 different tracks and I pan them differently. I'm giving y'all some secrets right now. Giving y'all some secret sauce. Pan one up the middle and one on the left, one on the right. Mix it accordingly. You can see if you want to know. Boom, it's right there. It's no secret, but it is a secret. It is what it is. But I like the way it sounds. It sounds full. It gives like a more R&B type sound. Pan them all differently. One up the middle, one on the left, one on the right. Don't have to do this. There are other tricks you can do, but I generally like the way this sounds. So that's what I did with my vocals on the hooks, and then my backgrounds. If you hear my songs, most of the backgrounds or even just in the hook in general, I have, it's double stacked or triple stacked. All right, there are 3 different sounds, one coming up the middle, one left, and one right. So that's what we got going on with the vocals. Threw a little tuning on there, real tune. So the no transition, this number right here, oh, you can't see the number. All right, so it's not really smashed. You may be able to hear it in certain parts, but it's not like most of the modern songs you hear today. That's just like straight auto tune. So I just threw a little bit on there. You can also Melodyne. Melodyne is a slightly more tedious process, but it is a lot lighter. When I say lighter, I mean it's not as audible as doing auto tune or this Waves tune plugin, which is what I pulled up, but you can't see. So is what it is. Subscribe, I'll figure it out. So did that, went through another plugin for some saturation, went through an EQ, then another EQ. So I do 2 different EQs. I don't really smash any one plugin with too much work. Light touches all throughout. You know, if something needs more processing, if it needs more compression or more EQ, I just use multiple EQs so I don't put as much stress on any one plugin. All right, sometimes that can make your system crash. Me, I'm working with a beast around here. Like this computer down there, $6,000, and it's not an Apple. So comparing apples to PCs, like if you spend $6K on an Apple, you're gonna get a pretty damn good Apple. If you spend that same money on the PC, it's gonna blow that Apple out the water. Like it's gonna blow it out the water. It's no competition. So I don't really worry about the plugins crashing and all that stuff, but it does, it can ramp up your RAM and all that good jazz. So I don't really go too crazy on one plugin. I distribute the work between many. So here I use the FabFilter EQ to do subtractive EQing, which is just taking away the sounds that are unpleasant or causing stuff I don't want to hear. And then I use the Pultec, which is a remodel of a vintage EQ, to add in some more presence, some more sound, some more air, or some more sounds that I do want to hear. This Pultec EQ also has its own character. So a lot of the plugins that are modeled after vintage gear, people like them because they have a sound to them, to themselves. Sometimes you don't even have to play with the knobs and play with the faders or anything in these plugins. Once you slap it on there, there's a difference in the way it sounds. So the Pultec is one of those. Went through the first EQ through the Pultec, and then just the 1176 compressor for level. Sometimes I go through 2 or 3 compressors. I didn't do that on this one. And to be honest, this is not my best mix. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I don't really like the mix. It's a good mix, but I've done better. So maybe on this one, I should have gone through the LA2A. If I do anything, I go from this 1176 plugin to the LA2A, just to kind of ride the vocal. From there, I go to a delay and a reverb to add some more presence and kind of fill up the space around the vocal, make it bigger, give it a little more depth. How long did it take me to record this? Let me think. Let me remember. I don't even remember. So a lot of the songs I make while I'm either in the gym, I get ideas while I'm in the shower, or I make the song while I'm on the road. So I make them on the road, in the gym, and I get a lot of ideas in the shower. That may be the same for you. If it is, let me know in the comments where you get your ideas for your songs. Outside of life, obviously living this life, I live this life. You listen to this song, I live these lyrics. So some songs take a gym session or 2. It's like a couple hours. Some songs take a little bit longer. This song, I've been in my zone on the love type stuff lately. So it didn't take that long. Maybe I'll say 3 hours max. To record it, about the same. Roughly about 3 hours to record this song. Mixing, it's about the same. So from top down, the entire process, I'm not going to include making the beat, because beats are different. That's a whole nother video on how I make them. Sometimes I just might lay one thing down and lay something else down another week or something. But as far as recording the song, I'll say it's about from creating the idea of the song, getting the lyrics down, recording it and mixing it, it's maybe 10 hours. 10 hours. With that being said, you already got an idea about what I'm about to say. If you want to know more, or if you want to go behind the scenes with me, subscribe to my email. I have a Royal Court. So those are the individuals who, when I sit down to actually make this song, they're sitting down with me live, asking questions, kind of going back and forth. Not too much, because again, when I'm in my zone, I'm in my zone. But yeah, subscribe to my email list. I'll put a link in the description, and you can get access to me actually going behind the scenes. Other than that, I'm gonna throw little clips on YouTube and other places so you can get an idea of that. So let's say this song was about 10 hours. And that's it. This has been A to Z, Flow State, the mixing process. If there's something I miss, something I like, something you want to know more of, just leave it down in the comments. Subscribe to my email list. Subscribe to my YouTube, man. I enjoy doing this. So subscribe to my YouTube so I can get you guys more videos going more in depth. And yeah, that's it. Until next time, peace.